Well, we'll take that as a rousing no. Everyone's all set. So that being the case, first off, I would like to thank you all for spending this time with me, and thank you very much because I do so love a good game, a good session, no matter how painful it may be. We can work through it. We can attain the minor victory of it. And for the record, this is officially In the Shadow of the White City season premiere. Nothing is so painful to the human mind. When we last coterie, Dommie and Dia were en route to Indianapolis. They were on their way to Indy. They were bypassing their home territories in Dalton and the Riverdale area and moving directly into Indiana, passing Gary and Lake Station and all the other many out of the way places. Now, when most people think of Indiana, they think of rural, and while that is not too far off base, it is in fact almost the antithesis to what Indianapolis actually is. It is the third most populous city in the Midwest, falling just shy of Columbus, which falls just shy of Chicago. Indianapolis is not only the state capital of Indiana, but also the county capital of the area. And unbeknownst to most, it is neither a tower city nor a rabble city. It is an independent city unlike any other. As far as the world is concerned, Indianapolis is the seat and national capital for the ministry. It's one of the few cities wholly, respectedly, and expectedly under their control. And is also, without beating a dead horse overly much, the second most well-known city managed and operated by the Toreador. Unlike New Orleans, which is the hospitable capital of the continental United States, Indianapolis is working and has been working for the last decade to usurp that title. They are welcoming and assistive, and for all intents and purposes, the most hospitable place in all of the contiguous United States. People who've passed through there kindred who've passed through there often remark as to how open, how unrestricted, how refined they are. And as such, we pick up with Secundus relating just how the church has redefined what charity and community means. There's no oppressive prince, no baron. It is led by the church elders, and there's a welcome instead of hounds and sheriffs. And there's also, in her relating of the day-to-day, not as safe as many people believe. While welcoming and tourists and passers through receive a certain largesse of kindness and welcome, there is also the very real fact that if you threaten the community, that everything short of hell will fall in your lap. And one of the many things that Marion has taught her is to absorb the information that those around you are willing to give, because in their silence is also some level of truth. So, understanding that, Dia, where you guys are roughly 10-15 minutes outside of Indianapolis, what is it that what's on Dia's mind?
Dia's definitely focused on the fact that their original number has been dramatically reduced, and that they are trying to kind of save face and pull this off while having lost most of their charges or most of the coterie. Um, she's also counting the fact that David's not mentally, there enough to be of any real sort of help in this whole situation. So yeah, that's all kind of playing. It's basically I have to wait. Didn't David go back to Dalton
with Lothair?
With Lothair? Okay, so yeah, she's kind of thinking back towards. I wonder how that went for them. It doesn't bode well that we had to send them back by themselves, and then wondering how long before the other shoe drops about Everett. That whole thing there. They're basically trying to do this mission just to save everything else that went wrong, and she has to succeed. So there's that, driven focus going into Indianapolis.
And Dommie, you began this flight from Dalton in the company and association of 3 others. You were joined by Dia, but here you are with Dia and Secundas driving in a blacked out Maybach on your way to a mission where you've already lost 75% of your party, 75% of your troop, 75% of your unit. Where does that place Dommie mentally?
Mentally, he just kind of like somewhere between this is probably going to be the last ride. He knows it. Not a whole lot they can do about it, so he's just kind of rolling with it right now. There's not really. He has to complete the mission. No man left behind, but this ain't looking good.
Okay, so he's pretty much written off his chances of successes. Is there anything that he's choosing to relay to Dia, as Dia came along after you and David had already made it into the city?
He tells her, honestly, if you can figure a way to get out of this situation, it probably would behoove you to run screaming and say that you couldn't find everybody and save face, because this isn't gonna end well. And I don't know if there's any way we can salvage this.
Secundas chuckles almost nervously when you mention that there's no way to salvage it. You don't understand. We're already dead. The only thing we can do is embrace what we have. Like that Debbie Downer is gonna, you are your thoughts after all.
Yeah, we're gonna die, but most of us expected it. Most of us expected to die well before then. So we kind of knew we were walking into a trap because Everett kind of forced us into this, and he kind of sold us out. So we kind of knew we were in a trap scenario. But then he went ahead and got himself killed. So yeah, leaving us to just kind of pick up the pieces. Or then the weird thing is, the benefit to us if we pulled this miracle off was to get a big haven for all of our group to live and be on call. The entire group is dead. So the value of it is almost remote at this point, we're just trying to save face. And even if they give us a haven, it's of the original group. There's me, there's David, who's catatonic, and there's Abner, who's dead. So even if we succeeded, pirate victory best.
You make that sound very, very unappetizing instead of victory is a victory. I started off in this life behind the 8 ball, and less than a year later, I've been taken in by Marion. Moses has helped me get a new life, and my very real fear that I was just a monster I lose faith, if I lose myself, if I lose sight of what this opportunity is. But
Dia
hey,
looks at Dommie and listens and smiles back at their new friend, giving them a wink. But looking at Dommie, I've lived this long. I do not plan on letting anybody kill me. I didn't plan on letting Abner kill me, and you see which one of us lasted. I do not plan on letting anybody else kill me either. So, let us get that straight now. I'm not going to run. I'm going to do what I was sent here to do, no matter how disastrous that might be. As far as what you were promised, well, I'm supposing that it is probably forfeit now, but that is neither here nor there. We have honor amongst ourselves. We are promised to do something, so we will do it, no matter how long that takes to do. I'm sorry that your sadness has overtaken you, but again, I am here to do a job, and I will do it.
and as that conversation is transpiring in the Maybach as it makes its way down along 65, crossing over 70, and moving towards the Leanden Club, because at the end of the day, that is ground zero for Secundus, having operated in and around Indianapolis for this last year. She has become a fixture there prior to her mission in Illinois. As the car slides along the streets, making its way, we switch our gaze to to Zak. Now, in the grand scheme of things, the south suburbs of Chicago are, for the bulk of the world, just Chicago. There's no real difference between the gleaming jewel of the Camarilla and its many contiguous and non-contiguous suburbs, especially those southern ones. Riverdale and Dalton and Harvey and Chicago Heights, for the most part, people see merely as extensions of the city itself. Even locally, there's that very real lack of understanding of the boundaries between the two. And while Zak's club is locally a hotspot in Riverdale, there are two big clubs, Zak's and Jimmy's. And while Jimmy's is the place if you want that bump and grind, that under the cover of dark, privately public moments of meeting and greeting and playing the skin game, Zak's club is entertainment. It is a place to go and lose yourself in the music. It is a place to go and take in the ambiance, the very real ambiance of a good time for a good time's sake. Find music, find people, and the opportunity to believe the illusion that everything in the world is absolutely A-OK. The Rosie is that place. And while that is the case, and while the locals know for a good balance of entertainment and ambiance, the truth of the matter is it does not run itself. There's books to be kept, acts to be booked, and unfortunately, with the current political climate after what happened with the Queen of Spades in Dalton, a very real deficit in regards to talent. The Queen of Spades was the Las Vegas of the southern suburbs. It was the place. It was the real capital crown jewel. All other clubs existed in its orbit, picking up its strays, picking up those acts that then couldn't quite make it there under Von Evans' careful consideration. And that state of affairs is why we find Zak at the Leanden, schmoozing with Marion, the head bartender and co-manager of the place. For all intents and purposes, Marion is the Leanden. Marion is there more than any other person, including the illustrious owner. So, elbow to the bar at the far back right corner, Zak. Okay. Seems as if we may be experiencing some small bit of technical difficulties. So we will slide right along, and hopefully
This
they.
microphone is picking up items. It is picking something up, but his voice is not coming through. But he is some ambient noise is triggering his microphone, though. I'm not sure what's going on with Zach, but the microphone is triggered, but I don't know if he's talking or not.
Doesn't seem to be lighting up for me. So, with the technical issues being what they are, we will move right along. Let me send out a quick missive here. And hopefully, all right. So, that being the case, back to the exterior of the Leanin Club as the Maybach slides along the streets, moving into the parking spot, second only to the 1976 Cadillac Brougham sitting right there at the edge of the parking spaces on the side of the building. Pulling into the stop, Segundus hops out, passing the keys along to the valet, even though she parked herself. Seems a bit unprecedented, but people do weird things all the time. All right, guys, we want to head inside, meet Marion. That way we can find our way around. Find who is it that you're exactly looking for?
Yeah, I'll let you fill that one because I'm thinking that she may be lost and gone forever.
It takes a lot for Dia not to roll their eyes. But anyway, they look towards Segunda. I think we are looking for the prince's missing daughter? That's what I was told.
Okay, do we have a name? Did anyone receive their name?
Out of character, I don't remember.
Out of character, you weren't given it.
Out of character, I thought it was Honor, but I don't remember. Open up the tablet. Is her name listed on it?
No, it's not. But uncharacteristically, Dommie speaks up and says, "I thought her name was Honor." To which Segundus replies, "Oh, well, there's not that many of those sorts of people here. Plus, Honor Mercer is a pretty standout name in most kindred circles, being the name of Prince Decker's youngest child. I'm sure Marion will be able to help us find if Honor has managed to come this way."
Army hops out, stretches. It's out of the way so Dia can get out.
Standing and, of course, smoothing their clothing. Did we, in the time that it took to get from Chicago to Indianapolis, did we have to make any stops or did we drive straight through?
That's one of the many benefits of being a kindred. You really don't have to stop to stretch your legs or use the restroom. It's also a detriment when hoping to stop and find other items.
Truth. But I did say, last time, that we would definitely stop still and make sure that we could get a charger for the phone and the tablet. So that would have been the only thing we stopped for.
Right.
And we probably would have done that before we left Chicago itself. So, when we get out, Dia will smooth their clothing and square their shoulders and say, "All right, actually, I haven't seen Marion in a long time."
Oh, you know Marion?
Yes, we met before.
Excellent. That's always a very, very good thing.
Yeah.
The Leanin Club, much like the Queen of Spades in Dalton, and much like the Succubus, not the Succubus Club, and much like the Asylum, are one of the many kindred businesses that has a reputation of its own. In fact, as everyone enters, the doorman looking at Segundus and then you all, as her accompaniment, merely just hold the doors open as you all walk inside. Inside, for those who have managed to go to the succubus, who have managed to breathe in that ambiance and that landmark, realize there's a similarity of design. There is a feeling of walking into the familiar illusion of prestige. It has the very real grip of this is the place where one comes to party themselves to death. The volume of the music is loud enough that you have to stand close to be heard. And standing close or moving close in this sort of environment is an entreaties. It is an invitation that very few are able to turn down or deny. The Leanin very much is all of those hot and heavy moments that people attempt to imitate the world over. With Sigundas moves to the crowd, nodding here and there, and leading you all towards the back area of the bar. Before you actually make it to the back bar, where there is a tall, buxom brunette who's smooth.
Sorry
skin.
about that.
Hey, how we doing? You're back.
Yeah, my whole system completely locked up.
I'm sorry, that's happened to me on more than a few occasions, unfortunately. Usually presaged by Craig acting up more. Hopefully we can have
Okay.
lessons of less.
What did I miss?
Well, Zach is at the back bar speaking with Marion, who, just in case you missed the description, is a tall, buxom brunette with extraordinarily pale skin. There's not many women who are equally as tall at 6'1", but Marion is one of those such women. A very handsomely beautiful woman. Marion is a fount of connections and connective tissue in terms of information regarding acts, public secrets, and all sorts of gossip that is the hallmark of the clan at large.
Okay, makes sense. Basically, at the moment, he's wondering if it would be possible for him to maybe get up and perform, and maybe possibly allow others to perform with him. Basically, negotiation phase. He's saying, okay, what do I need to do to make this happen? Well, that's the gist of what he's saying anyway.
Oh, child, you must know that we would be greatly impressed and entertained to take the stage of the tonight. We have 7 people who have traveled no less than 100 miles to play for us. And the moment that Marion reaches, in other words, trying to violate the right of the author to exchange the opportunity to play for the crowd. At Zach's elbow is a woman. There's a short, slightly dark-haired woman in tow. Dommie, you have a kind of surprise
Dia is quite tall, very broad in the shoulders, very slender-waisted, obviously mixed Native and African American descent, very long, straight, very deep, almost blue-black hair that is currently braided tightly and then wrapped in a bun at the back of their neck. They have a very androgynous face shape, somewhat a little feminine if they were masculine, or a little masculine if they were feminine. Their upper body is dressed in a very well-tailored dark blue brocade jacket over top of a lighter blue, obviously silk shirt, a tie that matches, and it goes to a pair of matching brocade pants and a pair of high black knee boots that lace up the back. They're well manicured, well kempt and cared for, very full lips, and just, very kind of striking.
He's about 6'3", 260, give or take, dark skinned male. I think he has a military lean to him, and wire rim glasses. Carrying a laptop. He looks like he's seen better days, but handsome but not beautiful in his own way.
Okay.
And Zach, would you do the honors?
Okay. Zach's about average height, 5'10". Fashionably messy maroon hair, but it's naturally black, but of course, can't really. Of course, it shows in the eyebrows, not so much the hair. Sky blue eyes, Caucasian. Black leather vest. Has a Metallica t-shirt on and ripped blue jeans. Has his guitar strung over his shoulder. 3 small silver hoops in the left ear and 1 small silver hoop in the right. Kind of relaxed posture. He generally seems like he's pretty easygoing and chilled out. And right now, he's kind of looking around and kind of reading the room and taking it easy. He looks over at Marion and says, "Huh, so you do. Well, if you ever change your mind or have an opening." Then he pulls out a pen, piece of paper, scribbles his phone number, tears the paper, and hands it to Marion. "Just give me a ring if you ever have an opening."
Marion chuckles at taking the quick slip of paper. There's been many a few years since someone's bothered to hand their number to Marion in such a manner. People don't even use the napkins to jot down their phone numbers anymore. It's always texting and beaming information from one electronic device to the next. Marion smiles cheerfully as Secundus enters and reaches over the bar to one-armed hug and kiss both sides of her cheek, looking at Concordia and then Dommie and then Zach. Well. Isn't this a interesting surprise? I thought sure you would be gone for at least a month, Secundus. Who are your friends? Secundus looking between Zach and Marion and those two that are in tow with her, and she says, "Well, I'm sure you already know Concordia," to which Marion chuckles and nods, smiling. "But this is, I did not get your name."
"Oh my manners seem to be failing me. Name's Zach. You might have seen my YouTube account. And you might have heard of the bar I run over in Riverdale, the Rosie. Just a little playing a certain AC/DC song." And he says that with kind of a chuckle, basically kind of looking around. If it's a no smoking area, he'll respect that, but if smoking is allowed, he'll pull out a cigarette and light it up.
Unfortunately, it is a non-smoking environment, but you have caught several people stealing either a puff of their electronic or otherwise not bothering adhering to the law. Not not what the law states, is what you can get away with. And the people who frequent the Leanna know that all too intimately. Secundus nudges Dommie to introduce himself, as she really did not get his name in the drive down. Concordia was known because of their connections via Urzuli and Sophia, but Dommie was never. No one's ever called him by his name.
My name is Dommie. Let me also.
Well, Marion looks, and the fact that she is now in the presence of 4 additional kindred on a night where she had not planned such a thing, she knows the portents of what that could mean. And while she doesn't lose her truthful demeanor, the hostess in her, there is a shift. Smile is still there, but not quite as bright, as it seems as if business is to be had. Well, I suppose it is about time for my break. Won't you all join me? She moves from behind the bar, lightly tugging on Zak's vest to get them to rise and taking Secundus by the hand. Right this way, folks. I believe we have a table for ourselves. And she moves through the crowd towards the back, through one door and then the next, until they are away from the driving bass of the DJ and the club in full swing. Settling in at the table, she said, Secundus, now I know you wouldn't be back on this because that's something important, especially being you on your mission of mercy. What's the problem, dear? Secundus looks between Dia and Dommie. I honestly don't know. Urzuli, I mean Sophia Eyes suggested that I help Dia, and well, helping Dia brought me to Dommie, and they're looking for someone.
Zak's kind of following closely behind and he's kind of listening but trying not to exactly eavesdrop, but doesn't want it to seem like he's ignoring them either. He kind of nods and takes in the scene and takes a look around and listens to each DJ to try to figure out which one's the most promising.
Excellent. So sitting in the employees' break room as Secundus motions towards Concordia and Dommie to
Dia leans forward. Marion, darling, I forgive us for interrupting your evening such as this. I know we were not announced and we showed up without giving you any sorts of warning, so I do apologize for that. But we are in need of a bit of assistance, and your lovely Secundus here was a bit of an angel for us, actually, as we found ourselves in Chicago recently. And she said that you might know where somebody we are looking for may or may not be. We were sent on a bit of a mission of our own, actually, looking for Anna Mercer. You might know them. They were said to last be seen in this city. We should like to talk to them and maybe see if they would like to return home to their father.
You know, that is an amazing sort of coincidence. I know you don't believe in such things, but I'd be lying. However, as yes, all of these have to be find Then Zach here happens to be one of our lovely senseis. I understand that Riverdale and Dawson are smack dab on top of it. Might as well be kissing cousins, from what I remember.
Well, that's certainly one way of wording it.
Yes.
And
Dia here, her sire, her associations with the Piscateers is a thing that very well might help you out with the Rosie. It is good to have friends, and I'm sure that between the three of you all, because Secundus, unfortunately, your timing could not have been better. There are things that we need to speak about in regards to Keisha that you should know when speaking to Modius.
kind of
As well as we do need to talk about your associations with Azuli upon visiting Chicago. If you three would excuse us for a moment, I need to have a word with Secundus. We will be right back, and we will have an idea as to where you might begin your search. And Zach can offer his assistance so that when you all make it back to your neck of the woods, friendship will bloom like flowers, like roses even. With that, Marion and Secundus steps outside.
Zach kind of nods and says to himself, interesting choice of words. And then looks over at Dia and Dommie and says, now how might I help you two?
Honestly, we're way past help, but sure, whatever.
Don't listen to that old spoil sport. He's a bit of a sad sack right now. I think this is going to be a wonderful adventure, mind you. But help. Let's see. Well, I'm sure you heard we are looking for a certain young lady and would like to return her to her father if that is amenable to her, and apparently you might or might not know where they are, if I'm getting that correct.
A lot of ladies tend to frequent the Rosie. Did you happen to have a picture I could look at? She may have been there, she may have not.
I looked at Dommie. Do you know what Anna looks like?
Hold on, let me boot this stupid tablet up. I think a picture of her should be on it somewhere. I'll start trying to boot the tablet up. I know I had a picture on the charger, but you remember what happened to the Challenger, so yeah.
Well, yes, the Hellcat most probably has been impounded by this point, but who can say? As you boot the tablet once more and bring up Honor's social media page, there are several pictures of her in various states of dress, and yes.
I showed a picture to Zach. Does this person look even remotely familiar?
Unfortunately, Zach, the truth of the matter is, yes, you've seen the young Miss Honor Mercer, and also, unfortunately, you have an inclination as to their particularly problematic political leanings. Not problematic for you, not problematic for them, but the fact that you are in a ministry city, and it is clear from your previous instances that you know that Honor very well is anarch and leaning, despite her sire's grip on Milwaukee.
Zach kind of takes a look at the picture and nods. Whoa, I have seen her, as a matter of fact. And he's very forthcoming with what he knows, at least as much as he's at liberty to tell anyways. And
What do you think he's at liberty to tell?
basically when he last saw her and under the circumstances, as far as he would know, and has a kind of a general knows of her stance, but not her sire's, on the other hand. And he's generally being rather cooperative, despite the fact that they're total strangers. He's kind of leaning towards Dia, not really doing anything yet, but definitely examining her rather closely.
Yes, there's that similarity in their aims of defying the conventions of their time and their upbringing. Both of them, both Dia and Zak, are comfortably outside of the normative conventions of their generations. So much so that it is almost as if they are equal parts one another, both masculine and feminine in the same place, in the same being at the same time, with the variation and modulation between the two that is only determined by their own momentary inclinations. As the information is shared and put forth in regards to others clearly anarchic, despite a very real iron-like ribbon that decorated a as that realization settles in, Marion is going to step back. And it is just that simple. She is great for a talk. I'm sorry. I didn't. So, in the few moments of thinking amongst yourselves, what have we decided?
Right now, Zak kind of has an oh crap look as he learns about some of Anna's other circumstances, but isn't really saying anything right now. He's kind of looking between everyone, kind of deciding if he really can help beyond given information. He wants to be helpful, but he's not really sure whether or not he really can be.
He is kind of smirking, having gotten an eyeful of those pictures, and mutters under their breath, "I'm sure Daddy is going to love that." Meaning, their new
Daddy had chopped into little pieces, Dia. I honestly don't give a damn if he likes it or not. I'm thinking about putting them online my damn self just to piss him off, to be honest with you.
Oh, there is a family dilemma? With whom?
Between our young Miss Anna and her father.
Oh, that is always the way. Children can be so, and she looks at us again, just disappointing from time to time, but they are our future after all. She rests her hand against the gun, just pulling her into a small embrace. It is clear that it's not necessarily as warm as it seems.
I'm a different storyteller. Would I know what's going on between Marion and her other childer? Or
no, but you can inquire.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because I didn't want to ask if it was a sore subject, but I'm going to ask. Dia looks at Marion. Speaking of childhood, how is your other, that young rider you had that night at the party? I haven't seen much of him lately.
And you probably should know. He is, as ever, male, which means pig-headed, stubborn, disappointing, and thoroughly infuriating.
Oh my, sounds like you two are having quite the feud, if I dare say so. And do forgive me if I'm overstepping my boundaries.
I shall try, as long as you don't step too far now.
And Zach takes that as a hint to kind of back off on the subject and kind of back off in general. Kind of steps behind and decides to let the others do the talking.
Oh, child. Now, hush up with that. I'm sorry if I come off a little bit, but you understand how children can break your heart into a million pieces. This gentleman that we are speaking of, my child, Mason, has done much the same, declared himself independent, able to take care of himself, and from what I hear and understand, he has let everyone down. He has not risen to the rank of primogen. He has not sought to be a whip. He is content to be in his little books, painting his little fantasies, and achieving no greatness. And it's been given to him on a platter. You can understand my frustration with this, can you not?
That is certainly a disappointment. But such is the way. But c'est la vie. That is the way of things. Thanks a lot.
Unfortunately, yes. Typically men will have greatness thrust upon them and they just say no. It is enough, I tell you. If I had the strength, Lord help me. But enough of my personal laundry being aired. Prince Decca's child, you all saying that they have some sort of issue. What sort of issue might that be?
I very carefully turn the tablet towards Marion and point.
Oh, child, a little nudity shouldn't make anybody blush. In fact, I'm surprised that they're quite as perky as all that.
Well, hello,
not...
he says with kind of a lecherous purr.
Yeah, do anyone know where she is? I just want to see if she wants to go home and then get back to my life. I have a business to run.
Well, don't we all? We all should all be pursuing, except for that no good child of mine have businesses that we see. But anyway, Honor Mercer, is she here? Is she in the city? Is that what you all? Because I know she swung by. I'm not sure if she's still here. But the child, I tell you, if I was Prince Duck, I would be even more heartbroken. At least Mason has everything in proper proportion and is attractive to the eyes. I'm seeing from that the child looks underfed.
I appreciate it. Don't know. Do you know if she's in the city? I just really want to know if she's in the city and where perhaps I could find her. We just need to find her to say this mission is complete.
I would be remiss, but luckily you are in the company of fellow sensates. Dommie, are you one of ours, or perhaps a part of a different garden?
I'm not in any garden at all.
Shame. There's so much hope for you. You do have lovely cheekbones. So, Zach, Concordia, being as we are sensates, I will share a little bit with you. Dommie, you will ensure that no one ever finds that you are a party to us speaking so freely. I can count on you, can't I?
You have my word. You have my word.
I see. You best keep that word, sir. That's my only remark on that. You best keep your word, because I can be a hellcat when the moment strikes me. Now, Concordia, Zach, just so that to help you all with this mission of yours, Segundas, my dear, those tables that we spoke about outside, could you make sure that they are properly addressed? No, I understand. And then Segunda just nods her head and leaves. Once Segunda is out of the door, she says, Anna was actually by here. Now, she looked, as I stated, underfed. She came by a few times. She's doing the make sure she's seen in public to see if anybody's paying attention to her. She looked as if someone was in her shadow. It was clear to me that she had the look of someone fresh off the bus, hoping to run away from mommy and daddy. I did not know that this particular Honor was Prince Decca's child, or otherwise I would have most assuredly led her astray just for the shits and giggles of it. But that being the case, is there anything else you all could tell me about honor that may help with finding where she may associate.
The runaway child. Reminds me of myself when I was a teenager. So long ago. She might have fallen in with quite the, shall we say, unsavory crowd. It's only speculation, of course, but it's one we cannot ignore.
Unsavory.
The only thing that I could tell you is that her father is psychotic. He tortured Gyro for his own pleasure, and he had me chopped into pieces. I just want this mission done, and I want to get back to my life.
I'm not going to say that was a buzzkill, but that was definitely a vibe check. Unbelievable proportions. Chopped into pieces. Did he make sure that every little piece got back where it belonged?
No comment.
Oh my goodness, you are an Osiris child. That is, I'm so sorry for you. I can understand.
Zach is totally speechless right now. He has that whole "what have I stepped in this time" look on his face.
And there is nothing that stands out about the poor little lost lamb, besides her sire clearly having certain fetishes.
Wait a minute.
Again, have been trying to keep themselves together this whole time, but then looking at Dommie and looking at Marion and goes, actually, we were told by Dia and Dommie, somebody who cares about the young lady, that they were somewhere with horses. And that led us to the football team? Stadium? So does that sound any sort of familiar?
Well, unfortunately, all of them sweater types do come and visit and inebriate themselves, cheering on the Colts, but I doubt that such a hungry child would be safe in such an environment. As far as horses, there are in the outlying area several hundred ranches where one might run with the horses, or if one was so gouged to feed upon them, if that's what they were aiming for. She did not strike me as that sort. She seemed underfed, not poorly fed. Only a savage would feed from anything less than the most warm and inviting of humans.
I think it was statues. Are there statues of horses at the stadium?
With the Colts, of course, occasionally they do have a few cowboys come run and put on a show for the public. There's so few night games these last few years, it does not make an uptick in business. I would much rather them have all night games. As well, the benefit and boon to us is considerable.
Oh dear, that sounds like a clue to me.
Well, I can give you the fastest and quickest directions to the stadium, though if I were you, I'd say fairly well clear. It is the undisputed territory of certain of the most unsociable sources. And again, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to make light of any further forced on you by Prince Zak and Dommie. You must forgive me. And with that, Mary steps a little closer to us in the hands, trying for not to touch Dommie just yet, but it's still the information to put into grace is there.
Right now, Zach's whipped his phone out and is trying to look up the stadium because it sounds awfully familiar. Eventually, he finds it on his phone and is looking to set a GPS location and link it to his car.
Tommy takes out a pen on a napkin, writes down the address. He's thinking of GPS as soon as he can get back to the Maybach, and hopefully we can wrap this up and get away from this whole situation as quickly as possible.
Zach, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll wits plus etiquette for me, please?
Okay, wits plus etiquette. Hold on just a moment. Okay. That's 3. Etiquette 2. So, give me just a moment. Okay. One of the dice rolled a 3. One rolled an 8. One rolled another 3. One rolled a 9. And one rolled a 10. I'm using a roller simulator on my laptop at the moment.
Okay. No worries. I understand. If you look there on the sidebar in the server, there's a folder that says roll dice here.
Ah.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. We typically use thirst, but there's malcav to potentially use as well as just thirst and malcav are the two.
Okay, let me see if I can find one of those.
Oh no, they're already active on the site. So the syntax thirst is the exclamation mark B, the total number of exclamation mark lowercase b space total die pool space hunger. In this case, your hunger would be.
Okay, so exclamation V51 in my case.
Yes.
Okay, it's saying 4 successes.
Ooh, Ra, look at that. Very nice roll right out the gate. First roll of the Chronicle, and Zag comes away with immediate successes in the conversation between Zag, Dia, and Dommie when recognition dawned in regards to Honor's Anarch status pops back into conversation, pops back into Zach's immediate memory. It is there is no shadow of a doubt that he understands that Honor very much is an Anarch. In this case, it seems in rebellion to her sire, who is a prince of the realm, a prince of the tower itself. That is a pertinent fact or detail in regards to her. Would Zach share that again here and now?
And he does indeed share that detail. Again, he wants to help him out as much as he can, and he's being very cooperative. But again, he's not really sure just how useful he can really be.
It is a fair doubt in regards to how successful he would be in boots on the ground. However, already in the few moments of recognition or understanding that and expressing that Honor in fact is Anarch, at least has severe that is cool. That makes things completely worse because she went into the stadium. Going in the stadium with such emotion should really put her at full risk. They are hard on that. However, with as many lovely places that are to hide, most of those young rabble associate and hang out in Center State Hospital live about. There's a campus that has lots of partying kids and children on the run from their sires, from fathers, mothers, cousins, sons, grandfathers. It's a harder place for that sort of low class. It's the sort of place that one who is esteemed to speak out in scandal.
And you wouldn't happen to have anything I could enter in here, would you? He then turns around his phone to show he still has his GPS app up.
So you would expect me to understand where Center State Hospital might be?
Well, no, you seem to know quite a great deal. I'm just looking...
It is most.
Forgive me if I'm being presumptuous, but... Well, he's kind of in thought now, kind of stopping himself before he missteps.
It is with no joy, but I will share what I know in regards to the location. She takes Zak's phone, entering in rough address for his GPS. I do wish you all luck. Skinders is outside at her car waiting for you. I'm sure she's completed the little task I set aside for her.
Well, good man, Zak. I do appreciate you. I do. I think we might be able to figure this out and maybe go home if we're lucky, dear. And maybe not get anyone else killed.
That kind of raises a brow from Zak, and he too thanks Marion for her assistance and basically offers his services whenever she may require them.
Well, if you are lucky and kind and understanding, and if you assist Segundas in helping these poor souls, I will do my best to ensure that you receive all that you are due for your assistance, making sure that Segundas is successful in her assistance here. After all, one favor begets another.
And when one chapter ends, another begins. He gives an understanding nod and sends the address to his car to basically hook it up and plot coordinates and plan a route.
Thank you, Marion.
Dommie, I do wish you best of luck in dealing with your infirmity. I wish I could assist. Unfortunately, that is not in my wheelhouse. But if you, and she reaches out her hand, take yours. If you grips it with her left as her right rests on his palm, her thumb on the back side of his hand. If you should ever vibration, I'm sure something like that pride, but maybe we can have a conversation. Feel free to come back and look me up.
I'll definitely do that. Thank you, Marion. I will look forward to it. He looks over at Dia.
Why don't you head to the car? I want to speak to Marion for a moment. I'll be out in a moment.
Okay.
And Zak and Dommie make their way out of that of course, one group are closing Marion closing together. Look, that island hunger.
You see what situations I have found myself in. I feel that I have fallen quite far for this to be the case, but I will do my best. Now, your young lady, Secundus, I will do my best to help them see their way to wherever it is they need to go next after they help us. I found myself quite fond of them and my little excursion from Chicago to here. So do not worry about them if you are so worried.
Oh, I'm not. She's not really not. I say, and
Dia, clips of interrupting winks, meaning that they already know that. Yes.
I was not aware that you knew of Modis' network. Have you done favors for him as well?
No, not as of yet, but your young Secundus has told me quite their backstory, as you would say, and I'm curious, mind you, but I promised them I would keep my lips sealed to anybody but you about where they came from. So, I will say that much. What it seems Dommie did not wish to say, I have no clue why, other than him being, like I said, a bit of a sport, and it's still angry at Prince Decker for what has been done to him.
Well, if I had been unmanned or something, I'd do it.
What Dommie didn't say is that they provoked Prince Decker into what he did. Fair or not fair, then I would leave that to your discretion. But, yes, when you come into somebody's town and make quite a mess, which is what I was unfortunately unable to stop from happening, I was sent too late to prevent. And all I could do was clean up the mess that I was doing. Anyway.
That is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seems so. But they were told by what I said to somebody that cares. It seems Dommie has been seeing spirits. And the spirits seemed quite upset about their young Miss Anna and some horses, and that felt that she was in trouble. So while you say that her anarch leanings would lead her more to this other hospital place, there is a slight chance that they were maybe taken captive at the stadium, since you said that would not be a good place for them to be, and we are thinking that they might be in danger. So I might still have to check that as well.
I would not. If they were in the stadium, I assure you that they were. However, if you are worried about their safety, if have to go to this, I would say best. For someone who is so pathetic in their saying and she is she probably would have more people with myself. Child, the things that guided up to the galleries. I don't know how to get big back, but there was a part where a boulevard your pops and gets involved in the album, put on the installation, him and the North Ride of the North, somewhere northern of the city of Chicago, threw on a show, and they did a live presentation. They molded these two women into exact twins of themselves with 3 breasts each and hips that were wide enough to birth cows. I tell you, it was simply something that I will never forget. And that was a slow Tuesday for Eritrea.
Oh, quite interesting. Then yes, I will make sure that I pay them a visit just to check off all the T's and dot all the I's. I would not prefer to have returned home and say that I missed something. You know.
I know, I understand. I do. I rarely fail, so it's not something that I understand intimately, but I do understand. But do make sure that Dommie understands that I am at a loss for his loss, and if he would like to discuss such things, he can always come back. I find tall, dark, and handsome to be my new flavor of the week, and it is, after all, only Wednesday.
I will let them know that. And then Dia very carefully leans in and gives them a kiss on each cheek. I must get going, but I will pass your message along, Marion. Thank you quite much for your help. Honestly, you have helped quite a bit.
It is my pleasure. After all, you have given me such information about the Midwest and current affairs, and make sure that Segunda keeps her word in regards to passing along certain messages to my forlorn lawns, the fruit that has soured on the vine. Can you believe he would much rather... anyway, I'm sorry. I don't want to take too much of your time. They're waiting on you. Go, go, go.
And with that, Dia heads.
Now, in the few moments that Dia is inside speaking with Marion, Dommie, in the last month, you have not had the opportunity to really associate with any kindred who was either not aiming to take from you, or bend you over and take from you in another way, either emotionally or physically. Even your own coterie members, Abner did attempt to, and David did attempt to, not out of malice, but there was definitely the very real idea that at any moment, one or the both of them lost things and irrevocably done harm, much like the lives that you and David ended, much like the fact that somehow in the midst of things you suffered through several centuries of pain and torment on top of the physical pain and torment. So as you walk toward the Maybach with Zak, is there any moment or anything you have managed to discuss?
It seems Zak seems very Toreador-ish, so Dommie would pretty much not really know how to approach a Toreador, so he only knows what he's been told from very few people that he talked to, and Toreadors are not really known for Dalton, so he would kind of keep it very surface level because he doesn't know how to approach a Toreador.
Okay. And Zak, much the same question as you exit out of the back areas of the Leanan, and you and Dommie are sauntering out towards the cars waiting on the side of the building. Is there any moment of discussion that is had, or is it just the silent camaraderie of walking out of a club together?
Zak's mic is out.
All right. Well, the timing works. We are 56 after the hour. Let's come back and rejoin at 6 after the hour.
Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties.
Hey, we all have them, no worries.
Yeah, internet out here is kind of crap since I'm out in the woods in the middle of nowhere in Michigan.
Understood. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Colorado, so trust me, I understand.
Ah, merci beaucoup.
So, on a good day, I might have 8 megs download on a good day. So, trust me.
Okay, I think I was asked whether Zak tried to make conversation, and he did, but he kept it pretty basic. Like, usually the general things people would ask when first meeting someone. And as well as offering up any information about himself that that one may or may not want to know. Just general small
Pretty much
stuff.
the same. Pretty much Dommie would kind of keep surface level as possible. Because he doesn't know how to interact with a lot of different kindred, so very surface level.
And while he's talking, he's making his way over to his car, which is a purple Viper with white pinstripes. And he's already has a hand on his keys that are tucked away in his pockets.
Tommy would probably, while waiting on Dia, probably come and look at the Viper like, that's real nice. I had a car kind of like this. It was a Hellcat, but it got wrecked. Probably impounded. And possibly destroyed.
Poor baby. I can't imagine something like that happening to Anna Marie. Then she kind of strokes his car lovingly like he's petting a cat. It's clear he loves his car. And it's also clear who Anna Marie is.
Dommie looked at the car like, wow, yeah, I felt that way, and then they shot my car. Crashed it. Yeah, it was been a rough week for me.
I can only imagine. And he rolls down the windows, climbs in, and fires it up and turns on the radio. So what do you normally listen to? And he starts flipping through a bunch of different CDs he has.
Tommy just picks one at random. I listen to all music, so that one works. Let's give that one a shot.
He just so happens to be pointing at a Poison CD, specifically their cover album. He pops that in, and first track on the album comes on. The volume is kind of a little loud, but not like ear-blastingly so.
Yeah, Dommie just kind of looks. Yeah, you can almost tell that he's like, I wish I hit my car. It's written on his face like, I wish I hit my car. And he just kind of leans, hey, mind if I lean against the car or sit in it?
That kind of makes a welcoming gesture, or like basically just letting Dommie do what he will.
And Dommie hops into the seat. Want to scuff the paint with the or any of the brass and anything. So you run a club in Fulton.
That would be the Rosie, yes indeed. And he's kind of playing with his bangs a little.
I actually don't much, but I think once this whole thing is done, if I'm not dead, I'll probably swing by.
Feel free.
Testing. Glad to hear everyone's back, and Dommie and Zak are enjoying the percussive sounds of the Viper. Segundas is actually standing not far off watching as they interact. She's texting away as Dia emerges from the club. There are moments in time where the very real grace and preternatural dexterity of toreadors stand out like a beacon. And in this moment, as Dia makes an appearance and makes an entrance into the scene, which is exiting the club, this is such a moment. There, as a species, if you will, have a certain flair for doing the most, as the kids say these days. As you all reconvene, Segundas moves closer as Dia moves closer. Segundas leans down into the car. You all do realize that we all can't fit in the Viper. Would you like to take 2 cars? If so, you can keep up with me and then we'll arrive fairly shortly. I know where the hospital is.
Well,
that is a perfect idea.
Can't have anybody getting uncomfortable.
Of course not. Although you do realize that your car would be safe here. Marion would ensure that it would remain safe. But if we'd like to take 2 cars, that's more than fine. Me and Dia will take the Maybach, and you two take the Viper if you like.
Zach kind of looks over at Donnie to see what he wants. Because Zach would kind of prefer that his car be kept safe, but at the same time, he understands that 2 vehicles will be able to cover more ground than 1. So he's kind of looking for Donnie's input on the situation.
Personally, that's how I ended up taking my Hellcat and bullets crashing through a wall, impounded. So I probably wouldn't, but it's up to you.
That's because you're a horrible driver.
I didn't shoot at me. And you tried to flip over and crash into that damn werewolf. That was not me.
Werewolf? My, sounds like you two have had quite the adventure.
To say the least, it seems as if there was a significant amount of the story missing. And mind you, when I got to them, there was enough story visible all over Dommie and the other guy.
That would be David.
I suppose Anna Marie can go without me for a little longer. He shuts off the car and climbs out, puts the keys back in his pocket, basically checks to make sure everything's kosher. Again, it's clear. And he's basically treating Anna Marie as if it were his daughter. Which is kind of ironic considering how he does have an illegitimate daughter that he doesn't really know about. But oddly enough, she does know said daughter's son, aka his grandson. But it's more of a met in passing kind of thing.
Melodrama is typically the sensate's byword, and as Zach exits the Viper, Dommie in tow, Segunda moves over to the Maybach, entering, push starting, and waiting for everyone to alight. So I take it from the message from Marion that we're heading to Center State Hospital.
I think that's a good idea. Let's go there first.
All right, sounds like a plan. Is there any other stop before we get there?
No, I just want to get this over with, to be honest with you.
Understandably so, considering what I've heard so far. And Zach kind of walks over towards the other vehicle as well. He also kind of looks back at Anna Marie, just kind of making sure. And then continues onward. But before he does that, he realizes he still has his guitar, so he goes to put the guitar in Anna Marie.
Actually, Segunda, I was given another address by your lovely Marion. Apparently there is somebody that's quite eccentric, might have a bit of information for us. They have an art gallery?
Oh,
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, no. Unfortunately, I do. I was hoping that she wouldn't be so... Oh, what is it? Okay, fine. As everyone finally gets back into the Maybach, As everyone gets back into the Maybach, Segunda pulls away from the curb, away from the parking spot, and eases out into the street. It is clear from the tension across her shoulder and neck that she would much rather do anything else but what you all are preparing to do. Moving quietly between the streets, you find yourself a little under 2 miles away from the Lianon at a art gallery. It is all sorts of twisted metal and various installations throughout the gallery. They're woodworking and metalworking and various nouveau styles done in classic materials. There are very few paintings on the walls, as each installation seems to be something you can walk around and fully take in, as it bombards the senses with various garish and odd angles. Moving through the late night art set, you see people in, turtleneck and tweed coats. You see jean suits and various other styles. One bit of leather that you are sure smells a little too coppery to be anything but fresh is in and of itself a small deal. moving through the crowd is what can best be described as a classic Greek statue come to life. Eritrea was tall for a woman of her time and just barely out of the running for now. She stands a comfortable 5'7", and she's built like Wonder Woman. There's no other way to describe it. Broad, strong shoulders, a full rise of breasts and hip and thighs that are designed to crush watermelons. Yet dressed as she is, there's nothing lewd or graphic about her stylings. Her shift hangs gracefully and properly accentuates her form while keeping every bit of skin from being exposed. Her haircut is clearly freshly done. Those with heightened senses will pick up that much, considering that there's a difference between a fresh hairstyle and one that you've had time to grow into. It's a short, almost 20-ish, 1920 sort of bob, clipped in the ends and rolled stylishly. And as you all enter, Segunda's manages to keep some small distance while smiling and inclining her head as you all are ushered by Segunda. And you all need to go talk to her. That's Eritrea. She's the owner of the Leone Club, and she is an ancient. And with that, she begins taking in one art piece after the next, moving further away, but staying in sight of the door and inside of you all.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Ancients and I do not mix, so I'm gonna let you kind of do the talking on this one.
Dommie, darling, you and most people don't mix. But I will keep that in mind. Why don't you and Zach go look around some, and I will handle this.
Good call.
Unexpectedly, Eritrea is just there. She was standing speaking with a group of people. Segunda's moved away. You all looked between yourselves, and she's suddenly there. She offers her hand first to Concordia, then to Zach, and then to Dommie. It is clear that there is a inherent bias against men.
Dia does their very much usual charm, taking the hand and touching their forehead to the middle of the ring finger. Quite lovely to meet you this evening.
I'm glad that you all have decided to take in some art. You, I recognize. How is Nicole these days?
Quite well. Staying out of trouble.
That is unfortunate. After all, where is life except for where trouble exists? You two, I have not had the pleasure. I am Eritrea.
I'm Dommie, and it's wonderful to meet you. He kisses her knuckles and then backs away.
You all are clearly new to the city. Have you spoken with Keisha as of yet, or are you attempting to leave soon enough where that won't be a necessity?
Just passing through, actually. But you cut such an interesting figure, we had to stop in and see what was going on here. I heard it was quite the entertainment.
We do our best. Unfortunately, as large as Indianapolis might be, it is not the same as my beloved Chicago. But better is better. What brings you to my gallery?
It seems we have found ourselves looking for a lost lamb and need a bit of a tip as to where to look for them, it seems. And I was told that you keep your ear quite to the ground as far as knowing things and might know where our little lost lamb would be.
I suppose I might be able to assist this lamb of yours.
Honor, mercy.
I see. That is unfortunate. That is greatly unfortunate. I am sorry that you've come all this way, but perhaps you might decide against looking for Miss Mercer.
Is there a particular reason why we would not wish to find Miss Mercer? Her father would like to know where she is.
A sire does not a father make, unfortunately. Miss Mercer, as far as I'm understanding, is fleeing from their sire's cruel embrace.
Cruel? I do believe we have, by proxy, met the man in question. So, yes, I believe. But still, we were given a commission and need at least some manner of news to return.
She visited the Lianan Club fairly often last week. As to where she might be at this moment, I could not begin to tell you. I merely hope you might dissuade yourself from seeking her out. It is unfortunate that one exists in such a state.
Well, perhaps if she is in some sort of danger, we might be of assistance to her.
It is very unlikely that you might be able to assist her. The only danger that I am aware of is that of her sire.
Well, then, that leaves us somewhat at a bit of an impasse. As while we would not wish to turn her into further danger, I'm sure you understand the type of person her sire, who claims themselves a father, might be, should we not complete the mission we were given.
Of course, it is your responsibility to tend to your task. However, you might consider a small bit of humanity, accepting a failure by way of doing something noble. It is not my place to decide, nor would I envy you such a position. But returning an innocent or even an uninnocent to a life of misery has its own weight of sin. Much like this piece, and she points to a garishly swirling mesh of wood and metal. It, when depending on where you stand, clearly is a reproduction of the birth of Venus. There's a rough-hewn shell at the base. There's a rough-hewn, depending on where exactly you stand. And as you move counterclockwise around the structure, walking with Elytria, it is literally as if the clam opens and Venus is revealed until you walk nearly completely back to where you started. She stops and she looks at the swirling shape and hint of design and then moves clockwise around the structure. Walking with her clockwise around the structure, and it goes from the birth of Venus, the arrival of Aphrodite, to, unfortunately, the rape of Persephone. No less vivid, no less strangely inviting, but a decidedly different message in the piece, a duality, both light and dark, wood and metal, beauty and mastery. But all the same, in the midst of the conversation, as everything true fails, you find that realistically, based on the information you have, that Cinder State Hospital is probably the best lead that you've seen. Doesn't take long for everyone to load back up into the Maybach, and off you all fly, once more headed towards a particular location in the city, knowing that you've veiled roughly 3/4 of the city in nearly 1/3 the time, even moving with a mission that you would have if you all were having to navigate the streets as per GPS, or if, God forbid, by foot. Thankful for Sogonos' driving and the clues and hints that you managed to obtain from the various individuals throughout the city, you find yourself at Cinder State Hospital. It is clearly an older building, built roughly in the 1800s. It's a building that gives off the vibes of here there be monsters. It is dark and filled with Baroque styling. There are gargoyles across the roof. There are steel wrought iron gates all around it, interspersed with, strangely enough, only waist-high wooden slat fences as well. It is a place where only the bold, only the brave, and only the foolish would dare trespass. You can already imagine that any children in the neighborhood or who've grown up in the neighborhood would see it as the most haunted place that they've ever known. As such, it is also victim typically of urban explorers during the daylight hours. Sigunda sits at the wheel. I don't believe this place is for me. Maybe you all should investigate.
So, Zach, you ready to not go in yet?
It does appear as if Zach is suffering from consistent technical difficulties that only Discord and Craig can allow and foster. So we're going to catch them up to speed as they gain access. As you all sit outside, does Dommie and Dia go in to investigate?
Under duress, but yeah, I gotta go in, gotta get this done. No mission can be left uncompleted, but definitely under duress.
Dommie shucks the quite nice brocade jacket, not wishing to see it come to harm, rolls up their sleeves on the button-down shirt and retightens their ponytail and ready to go.
Okay. As you all make it over the waist-high wooden slat fence and begin making your way towards the building itself, would both of you be so kind as to roll intelligence plus occult?
It would be an occult roll, wouldn't it?
Alright. You've all seen the homeless camp. It's a graffiti and etching mark that many homeless and bums and travelers use to signify various messages. As you all make your way towards the building and make your way inside, you see similar graffiti and etchings, and you've all seen them not just in pertaining to the homeless and travelers of the road, but also in regards to kindred who leave messages for each other in out of the way places. It is a practice that's fallen out of consistent use, though those of older generation often make such markings and leave such information publicly accessible, but completely unknown to the kind at large.
Any of them that reminds me of anything, or is it just sort of there?
And at this point in this lighting, it looks fairly indecipherable. You know that there's a message there. You're not sure exactly what. Would you be so kind to roll intelligence and brawl?
You say brawl?
Yes, intelligence plus brawl.
Aha. Okay. One thing he's good at.
As you all are taking in the details of the boarded and broken down hospital, and you're moving from floor to floor, following the strange markings and etchings and cracks in the wall and bits of this and broken parts of that. There's medical equipment here, broken beds, piping, and the like. It is clear that this place has been picked over several hundred times, and there's footfalls and tracks through puddles that are no longer present. It is clear that this place has been picked over and explored and used in the most aggrandizing of manners. This is not a place of healing. This is not a place of wellness. This, even in this dilapidated state, it is clear that it has been misused and abused.
He holds his arm out to Dia. Dia? This place has a very I'm gonna hurt you sort of vibe to it.
I don't doubt that. I'm sure the quicker we get this done, the quicker we can get the hell out of here.
True. But this looks like a place you would go to leave a body, if you get my drift. Beat somebody to death or beat someone down sort of place. Just kind of putting it out there.
Well, good thing we have you then, because you are good at that whole fisticuffs thing, are you not?
I'm okay. But let's hopefully this might be why she's hiding. Because if she's here, there's one thing that happens in this place, and a lot of it. I don't know if you guys can.
And what is that lot of it?
Turn towards the voice. Who said it?
Secundus is standing there.
Oh, you decided to come in.
Yes and no. I really did want to, but I realized you guys left without getting the flashlights out of the trunk.
Yeah. This is where a person would go and fight. Like a lot of fight. So chances are that's what's gonna happen here.
Forgive me for being stupid, but what do you mean by a lot of fight? That happens everywhere. In every frat party, every tailgating, what do you mean by a lot of fight?
Okay, there's a difference between brawling and fighting. This is a place of fighting. That is a brawling. Totally different.
You know, I hang out with a lot of very poetic people who make very bad poems, haikus, similes, and unfortunately it comes, as part of the business, but you could give them a run for the money. You're not saying anything. You do realize that, right? You painted a great picture. There's clear that there's a lot of fighting, and you see there's a difference between fighting and brawling. I'm asking so that when I see this, and she shines a flashlight down at the floor and the wall, when I see this and I'm able to tell the difference myself, what is it that I'm looking at?
Okay. You've been to a frat party, right?
Unfortunately.
Okay. You've actually been to a war zone or known someone who's been in a war zone where it's eat or be eaten, kill or be killed.
No, I don't associate with people like that. I'm a peaceful person.
Okay.
I like peace. Peace is good.
Well, this is a place of eat or be eaten. You wouldn't happen to have a K-bar or any other edged weapon in your Maybach, would you?
No. Why would you want such things? But keep your secrets. That's fine. Here's a flashlight, and she hands the other flashlight to Dia. It's quite all right. I'll ask around, and hopefully someone will be able to give me an answer.
Just stay behind me, and hopefully we don't get hurt.
Well, hopefully you don't get hurt. I'm standing behind you. If you get hurt, I'm gone. I'll come back and try to help later, but I'm not going to take pain unnecessarily. I'm already on edge because I'm someplace where it's eat or be eaten, and there's no definition for what that might be. Am I in a restaurant? Am I in a cafe? Am I saw those videos where the Asian lady would lay on the table, and it's not always Asian lady, but it's usually Asian lady. I don't know why they're so fetishized, but they'll have businessmen eat their meal off of them. That I wouldn't mind so much, but the way that you say eat or be eaten makes this seem very, very dirty. And I can't tell the difference between that sort of dirt and what I'm seeing here because it just looks dilapidated.
Okay, did you ever see the movie Fight Club?
Yeah, about the immature assholes who were suffering from mental issues and decided to beat their last 3 brain cells together?
That would be this place.
So people are dogfighting humans, or people are kindred are dogfighting themselves?
Could be both.
Well, that's easy to understand. Why don't you just say so? This is a fight club. This is a boxing ring. This is a wrestling ring, all rolled into one. This is where people come to do the underground fights, or this is the place where people come to do the underground UFC, or this is a place where the UFC and the WWE get together and have a baby.
Yeah.
Has rubbed their temples, and they have already walked a good bit ahead of the two of them because they can't take it.
We should probably keep up with Dia because this place, if we get lost, it could be interesting. Start looking on the ground for something that could be used as a potential weapon as I'm walking to catch up to Dia.
Yeah, so you pick up a broken IV pole, clearly out of date, clearly out of style, and going back several decades. And as you all continue exploring, you all hear from just ahead of you, "The fuck are you doing here?" And the issuing of that voice comes from that gentleman there. "The fuck are you doing here?" I'm only gonna ask you one more time.
Looking for somebody.
Well, you found somebody. Clearly not the somebody you're
You ain't
looking
the
for.
person I'm looking for.
Yeah, so get the fuck out.
When I find the person I'm looking for.
Well, that's not the way things are gonna happen. You're clearly looking for somebody that's not here. And the one person that can help you, i.e. me, telling you to get the fuck out. You shouldn't be here. No one really should be here. But you
Once I find the person I'm looking for, I'll leave.
What about it's not safe for anybody who's not from this neck of the woods to be here? You know, bad things happen to good people all the time. This is the place where those good people have that bad thing happen with a significant uptick in frequency. For your safety, you all should leave. And if you're looking for someone who's not me, I can tell you there's no one else here right now, but that changes all the time. So for your sakes, why don't you all leave? Or not? Well, fuck it. You guys find whatever pain you're clearly looking for, because I can guarantee you're not going to find any body you're looking for.
Do you guys need the body too?
The fuck are you talking about?
Can I do all? I just want to make friends, be nice. Maybe they'll talk to us if I be nice to them first.
Sure, go ahead. Make it happen. Oh my goodness. Did Phelps send you?
Does Phelps ring a bell to me?
Yeah, Keisha Phelps.
If they did, what change would that make?
I insist that you guys get the fuck out so I can find who I'm looking for. At least some clues that might lead to where she's at. Phelps is annoying and unhelpful. She has her head so far up the church's ass that she knows what they have for breakfast.
And who are you looking for? We might be able to help you.
Yeah, doubtful. Are you with Phelps? Are you with the church?
No.
Tommy's eyes narrow when he hears church.
We are also looking for a her, which is why I said we might be able to help each other.
You're looking for her. Huh. Well, this is more my city than yours. Who the hell are you looking for?
Miss Anna Mercier.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't say that, but at least you're not with the church. Why are you guys looking for Honor? I told you, sent you, who asked you to help?
Her brother did.
Wits plus subterfuge.
I'll take.
It is clear that if you mention anything about the Camarilla, that he would probably bolt or worse.
Yeah. So it's somebody who cares about her.
Well, she ain't got many friends, and you're looking at one of them. So who? Don't tell me you're hanging out with that stupid thin blood, are you?
No, do I look like I hang out with thin bloods?
He looks at Dommie and Secundus. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But yeah, so you guys looking for Honor. She disappeared last week, and everybody a little worried. I did my best to look out for her, but I'm sure you guys know how fucked up her sire is.
I've heard a few stories.
Yeah, well, the stories do nothing to really show how fucked in the head he is. He's so intent on keeping everyone safe, whether they want to or not. He holds on tight enough to make stone bleed from his efforts, unfortunately. It's not a good situation. So I took her to my wing after he brought her over, after he killed her into this life. But with her fucking up as badly as she did the smart thing and took off. I'm sure that his fucking judges already tried her in absence. Can't believe she fucking got caught feeding in the cage. And then let somebody film it. I know the monster inside all of us is bad, but you should never let it get that bad.
Sure, she had her reasons. She probably didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah, that's a problem. New licks are new licks, but he twisted her head, and unfortunately I can't even say that he's fucking wrong. What prince worth their salt wouldn't be trying to punish a walking, breathing sign of breaching the masquerade? Yeah, that's just, he's not known for his kindness. Hell, the only people that he's been even remotely kind to are those with political connections or who have the protection of somebody strong enough to give him worry.
That is true. So she's probably gonna want to disappear for a little while. Forever.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this or not, but those fucking judges, they can be cruel even in their kindness. Guy got caught poaching on the wrong domain. They didn't take just one hand, they took two, and one of his teeth.
Ooh, that's harsh.
Yeah, you know how long it takes to get a fang back?
Yeah, I can imagine. I definitely can imagine. So you haven't seen her either, huh?
No, I'm just sniffing around right now, see if I can get her scent, get her trail, find something. It makes sense, but really she needs a full rabble domain, because I don't trust the church. No offense to any of you ministry folks, but I really don't trust the church.
I don't think the church is for her either. Personally, the church is usually the last place I would send somebody. They have their uses though.
Yeah, I don't see any. As impressionable as she is right now, she's like prime chum for them. You should twist her head, something. Anyway, we gotta find her. So, taking it you guys are gonna help me.
Yeah, I got nothing else to do.
Is there any chance at all that they might have her already?
The church? I asked around, like Keisha's friends don't seem to have seen her, but you know how well they can lie.
I can always go ask, but I really don't want to.
What, you were
really
you were part of the ministry?
Don't want to. After a fashion. I may have to alienate myself a little bit more, but I could probably ask, and they might turn me down. Only, they may give me some information before they tell me to go kick rocks.
You don't seem like a Setite to me, but I guess it takes all types. Probably the reason why you left, right?
Uh-huh. That's about the size of it.
Well,
they don't like the whole thinking individual part,
That's all they push. The Setites love that sort of shit. The better to corrupt you with. They say they're the ministry all day long, but I've never seen a ministry member or even one of those that actually proudly call them Setites. That's not the case. Even their happy is filled with heartbreak.
Yeah. What do you think, Dia? Is it worth getting my ass chewed out again?
As much as I'd love to see that. Starting to wonder if it would not be beneficial to us and our young miss if we were to say that perhaps
she died?
Yes. Perhaps they met the
I've been trying to get that. I've been trying to get to that point for a while. I just haven't quite made it there yet. But yeah, I've been trying to think about what reason would she want to say that she's still around. Might be easier on her, but we need to kind of hold on. Let me make some calls real quick. Hey, anybody got a cell phone?
I take out my cell phone and hand it over.
Really? You all brought a... Oh, fucking hell. And he starts walking away from you guys. The hell?
It's a flip phone. Calm down.
You can be tracked as long as there's a battery in it. You haven't been anywhere around one of the judges sitting for any longer than a couple of minutes, right? If you were, that means they know where you are. Especially that fucking Nosferatu bitch. She keeps a fucking signal skimmer in her pocket.
I have no clue who you're talking about.
Kind of bite my tongue a little bit. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go back out. I'm gonna go outside for a little bit. I go outside, and I actually dial my contact in the church. I thought I wrote his name down.
Who this?
I thought I wrote his name down.
I don't recognize
This Dommie. This Dommie. I'm out and about.
You're the South Suburban. You're the guy who called 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am.
I am heading into a meeting. Can we make this quick? What do you need? What do you want? How can I help?
I'm in Indiana. How does the church in Indiana work with the church over in Dalton? Are they on good terms?
Oh, you all the way fucking out there? The only person we got near fucking Gary is near Gary. There's a guy at a fucking factory at church. He's part of our human contacts. Well, he's not part of our human contacts, but he doesn't know he's part of our human contacts, if you know what I mean. Acampo something. Adam Acampo. We don't really have too many people over there in Gary just yet, but we're working on building a location now. We should, by the time in a couple of weeks, have that whole thing sold up, get the humans out of the way, take over more completely.
Oh, so there's nobody over in Indianapolis that I could talk to?
Yeah, Indianapolis? Why the fuck are you in Indianapolis? That's fucking snake. That's fucking snake territory. Look, I didn't not only become the Don and hold my position and spread our influence over this fucking Midwest for you guys to fuck around with those snakes. Get the fuck out of there. Act like you never went. And get back to the suburbs so that I can at least reach out to View, maybe have him talk to you, get you on the straight and narrow. Indianapolis is a fucking no-no. There's too many snakes. We haven't broken into that territory yet.
Lovely. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
No, don't keep that in mind. Get the fuck out of there. The only thing they hate more than the fucking tower assholes is us.
Oh, lovely. Okay, then I will leave here as soon as possible. Much appreciated.
Yeah, be quick. Let me know where you are. I got this meeting. I gotta finish setting up these jackasses up north. Hit me back in about 3 hours. We gotta finish this ritual for the ghost.
Okay. Got it. I'll see you in about 3 hours.
Alright. Click. And as the phone call ends, we will draw our session to a close. Over the next week, I'm going to post a few things so we can play by post and touch base with a few things. But I want to thank you guys. We have pulled, in my estimation, Dalton up a little bit. You guys are in Indianapolis. I'm going to show you guys around. I'm looking forward to seeing what we find with our coterie at this. Good night, everybody.
Night.